Outside our show, several Asian shares benchmark fell today as our markets digested the implications of policymakers in major economies, preferring to take a patient approach to monetary easing amid sticky inflation. For Chinese blue chips fell 0.9%, while Hong Kong and Seng index similarly slid 1.4%. In the broader market, MSCI's broadest index of Asian Pacific shares outside Japan is 0.26%, while the Australian S&P 500 ASX 200 index lost 0.5%, and also hurt by a pullback in some commodity prices. Meanwhile, U.S. stock futures received a boost after Nvidia predicted quarterly revenue above estimates after the bell. S&P 500 futures stacked 0.6%, while Nasdaq futures surged 0.95%. EUROSTOXX 50 futures in dropped 0.38%. Taiwan's tech-heavy stocks benchmark scaled the record peak, and the last traded 0.25% higher. The MSCI's Asia Pacific Stocks Index touched over 2 years high. Also, Japan's Nikkei jumped 1.2%, drawing some support from a weaker yuan that touched its lowest level in over 3 weeks. The chief Chinese economist at JP Morgan, Zhu Haibin, says China's economy will grow 5.2% in 2024, up from its previous estimate of 4.9%. The economist announced his updated estimate during the JP Morgan's Global China Summit in Shanghai. He said the country's robust 5.3% year-on-year economic growth in the first quarter of 2024 surpassed market expectations and marked a strong beginning for the year. The JP Morgan Global China Summit is one of the largest, most influential annual gatherings of business leaders in China, connecting the global investment community with the Chinese market. Now, the South Korean government has announced a 26 trillion won, that's about $19 billion, package for its chip businesses, citing the need to keep up in areas like chip design and contract manufacturing, amid all-out welfare in the global semiconductor market. According to the South Korean Presidential Office, under the package, President Yoon Seo-ryu said a financial support program worth about 17 trillion won is planned through state-run Korean Development Bank to back investments by semiconductor companies. South Korea is home to the world's top memory chip maker, Samsung Electronics. Industry Minister Ao Dong-jun said the government's aim to help to boost South Korea's global market share is non-memory chips, such as mobile processor, to 10% from the current 2%. And now crude oil prices under pressure today after minutes of a U.S. Federal Reserve's meeting reveals discussions of a further tightening of interest rates if inflation remains sticky, a move that could hurt oil demand. Now, U.S. West Texas Intermediate crude rose to sell at $77.60 per barrel, with an upward price review of 0.04%. Brent crude futures experienced an uptick of 0.07% to sell at $81.96 per barrel. Bonny Light recorded a downward price margin of 1.09% to sell at $81.68 per barrel. And for the OPEC basket, dealers are offering $84.51 with a price decline of 1.10%. Again, the NGX is closing today at 0.30% down. The gainers are CNR Leasing, Coveting Aviation, Charms, and Veritas Cap. Losers list, we have Sky Aviation, NEM Insurance, Tantalizers, Japolgo, and M Benefits. We have further reports on markets and our subsequent bulletins at 7 p.m. and 10 p.m. Thank you for being a part of Business Nigeria today. I'm sure you learned one or two things. I'll see you again tomorrow, same time, where we get talking more business. Stay safe, get busy, and make some cash. I'll see you.
If you want to become something, become a child again. Why be a patient? If you must worry, then worry about winning. Why worry about germs? When you come home, bring tales and stories. Why bring in germs?
Shield your families from germs. When Dettol is a part of every household bucket, then you and your family can stay protected from up to 100 illness-causing germs.
Everyday use of Dettol keeps my loved ones protected.
Nigeria's security woes are far from over, but the military remains undaunted. In an exclusive interview with TVC News, Babajide Kolade Otitoju, the Chief of Defense Staff, General Christopher Musa, said the Boko Haram fighters have continued to surrender because they have no choice.
What the terrorists were actually doing was that they were developing a new generation of fighters that will have been more dangerous than the parents. And so we're happy and we're glad that they came out.
But has Nigeria got enough troops to defeat criminality?
If you look at troops, there is no country that has enough troops. Even the US does not have enough troops. What we want to leverage on is the use of technology and equipment.
General Musa speaks on the sometimes slow response of the armed forces to distress calls.
The terrain is a dangerous terrain. Again, no roads. Now, especially the last incident of when the school children were taken, we did not get that information until the next day. So they had enough time to do whatever it was they wanted before they left.
He vowed that the military will bring those who killed its officers and soldiers in Okwama to justice.
When the CEO himself came, he told his troops, he dropped his rifles, raised his hand and said, look, I'm here for peace. And they opened fire and killed them. That is unacceptable. We will never take that. We will follow the rules, but we'll get them.
Watch the exclusive interview on Journalist Hangout, only on TVC News.
Sometimes it's the story that calls. At other times, the people just want to be heard.
School, I need students, but I need teacher.
Can't continue like this.
Their voices re-echoing through time itself.
We haven't done anything. If the tide is high, everybody run for safety.
Their tears leave a sweet sour taste for all. Their demands, a familiar call beckoning for change. In our world, no one expects a disaster to happen. But when it does, we'll be there to x-ray all sides, from the east to the west, north and south. Community Forum will examine the oddities and challenges to economic development, as well as issues yearning for government intervention. Watch fresh episodes of Community Forum on Sundays by 9:30 p.m. only on TVC News.
Muhammad Ali was born and raised in Louisville, Kentucky on January 17, 1942. His birth name was Cassius Marcellus Clay Jr. He began training as an amateur boxer at age 12, and at 18 he won a gold medal in the light heavyweight division at the 1960 Summer Olympics and turned professional later that year. In his early years as a professional, Clay was more highly regarded for his charm and personality than for his ring skills. He sought to raise public interest in his fights by reading childlike poetry and spouting self-descriptive phrases like float like a butterfly, sting like a bee. On February 25, 1964, at age 22, he pulled off a major upset, defeating Sonny Liston to win the World Heavyweight Championship. That same year, he shocked the boxing establishment again by denouncing his birth name as a slave name and formally took the name Muhammad Ali, which was given to him by his spiritual mentor.
At TVC News, wherever the big news stories happen.
Boxing in 1981 and focused on his religion, philanthropy and activism. In 1984, he made public his diagnosis of Parkinson's syndrome, which some reports attributed to boxing-related injuries, though he and his specialist physicians disputed this. He remained an active public figure globally, but in his later years made fewer public appearances as his condition worsened and he was cared for by his family. Ali was chosen to light the Olympic flame at the start of the 1996 Olympic Games in Atlanta, Georgia. He died on June 3, 2016.
At TVC News, wherever the big news stories happening, we're geared up to break it. TVC News, first with breaking news.